Hello, hello. Today is a very special day. We are launching Blazers podcast. And for that, I have a very special person I'm going to interview with a very, very, very hot topic that I think most of the people is talking about. And of course, it's affecting our field, youth work inside of Erasmus Plus. This person is Fatima Freire, PhD in Psychology of Education, also co-founder of Motus Europa and a very good friend of mine, always supporting what I'm doing, all crazy ideas. Thank you very much for being here, Fatima. Welcome.
Thank you, Jesus, for hosting this and for this opportunity. It is a great pleasure to me to have this talk with you, and hopefully it will be a very nice and hot also discussion about AI.
Yeah, I think it's very crucial because I've heard people talking about AI in many different fields, but nobody talking about AI in youth field, in the youth field. And it's very special that we are doing it. I think we can get a lot and learn a lot from it. It's affecting all fields. We will be talking about it during this call, alongside with other applications, tools for youth workers, challenges that artificial intelligence is posing for us youth workers and in general. And I have a special topic I would like to talk with you, Fatima, is that we've been talking with some national agency officers about if it's allowed or not to use ChatGPT in Erasmus Plus for applications. We had some ideas, so maybe at the end of the podcast we will say what we've heard about. So far, I would like to start talking about it. Start talking about your experience, because so far I know that you joined a training course, and this training course was about developing a cookbook about how artificial intelligence will affect and is affecting youth work.
Yes.
It was with Cefic, am I right, in Czechia? Please
Yes,
tell
exactly.
us more.
In the city of Kolin. This summer, I attended an Erasmus Plus training course in Kolin about the use of AI in youth work. And it was very interesting because a lot of youth workers from a lot of parts of Europe, we attended this training course from Poland, from Spain, from Estonia, from Portugal, from Italy. And it was very nice because a lot of people from different backgrounds, we could learn about how AI is working and is using in our field, which is youth work. And in this training course, a lot of people knew nothing about the use of AI, and others users, others participants knew a lot. So it was very interesting to kind of meet in the middle and see what was our opinion and also our experiences with using AI in youth work, in, for example, Erasmus Plus applications, or even in schools, because there was a teacher there. And to sum up, it's a mess. It's a mess because AI, it's a big technology which is rising right now, and everyone is using it, and at the same time, no one knows how to use it. It's interesting, this, no?
Yeah, it's very interesting. When you were telling me about that, it's like, yeah, it seems that artificial intelligence just got born like 1 year ago when ChatGPT raised, no, and everybody was talking about ChatGPT. But in fact, if we've been all playing computer games when we were kids, we had fight against the AI, and that's been artificial intelligence. That's been among us for many years. But now the level of development that it reached, it's been huge.
It's crazy.
We will leave the cookbook, the document. We will leave it in the description of this video, just for the people to be able to have access for it, since it's a Erasmus Plus output and it's open source, so they can have access for it. But yeah, it's very, very interesting, and it's super funny. You were telling me about it, that sometimes you meet somebody that has been in the field, researching in the field, or working in the field, or maybe it's just an IT person, and suddenly what they can do with AI overpasses our capacities of normal users. I consider myself a normal user by 3,000, and they do things that we can sometimes not even imagine, right?
Yeah, exactly. I was listening to you and I was thinking about this technology and how, like, from one day to another, a lot of people have introduced AI or ChatGPT in their lives. And actually, the other day I saw a tweet about some information about this technology. And it says, and it's quite crazy, that, for example, Instagram, it's a technology that for reaching 1 million users in their platform, they took 75 days. Then Spotify also, they reached 1 million users in 150 days, which is like more or less 4 months. Do you know how many days ChatGPT, in how many days ChatGPT reached 1 million users? Make a
Wow,
guess.
I'd say, I don't know. Now you're posing it like this, maybe 1 month,
I know.
2 months,
1 month, no. Less than a week, 5 days.
less
So
than a
in
week, they
five
have 1
days,
million
it's
users.
crazy. It's crazy. In 5 days,
Phew.
ChatGPT reached 1 million users. That's the first time in the history of humanity that a technology is introduced so fast in our lives ever. Like, it's crazy. In less than a week, 1 million users. So yes, especially what you are saying, and in the field of education, the field of technology and engineering, everyone uses it. And it's very important for us as youth workers to learn how to use this technology in an appropriate way and also efficiently. This is also very important, no?
Totally, totally. You were telling me about that, and I was totally imagining that for sure engineers or software developers, they are using it crazily, like on daily basis, but
Hmm.
we are also using it on daily basis.
Yeah.
I'm subscriber of ChatGPT. I even develop some GPTs myself,
Mm-hmm.
and I know, I mean, most of the people I know from very, very diverse fields, they are using ChatGPT.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
I wonder something that when we were preparing for this podcast, I was wondering how is this going to affect us as youth workers, no?
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, I mean, you can imagine a designer or an artist maybe using some kind of tools for video creation or for like image creation, like text to image or text to text, stuff like that. Makes totally sense. But for us as youth workers, how are we going to implement artificial intelligence technologies in our daily work or in general in education? I don't know if you have some thoughts about it.
Yeah. Defensor of technologies used in a good way in general. So my first answer to that question
Important,
will be,
good way.
it will improve our work. But it's very important that we have these conversations, but because at the same time it can be a risk if it's not used in a appropriate way. So of course it will improve it. For example, we are seeing this when we are writing Erasmus Plus applications. Everyone uses ChatGPT to prepare for those applications, and that change also how are we evaluated. I am guessing because I don't have any official data about this, but I know that you're familiar that when ChatGPT became public and everyone was using it from one year to another, the Erasmus applications reduced. No, I don't know if you know about this.
Yeah. Let's explain that. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. I was thinking
Mhm.
to postpone it and to talk a bit later, but I think it's a very hot topic and it pop up. Totally. In the moment that ChatGPT came public, immediately, few months later, the European Commission says, guys, organizations have a limit of 5 youth exchanges, 5 training courses, and they also put some limitations with K-Action too. So you are limited, and you think, okay, what's the connection? Well, I think the
Because before
connection
before
quite
it
clear, no?
wasn't, there were no limits, right?
No, there were no limits, and still, like sometimes
Mhm.
you see that you are, I don't know, introducing in the platform, in the class platform, you're introducing some of your partners, and they have like 1,000 applications that they did, and if you count, that's impossible with the new limitation because if you have only the possibility of 5 per deadline, you are the maximum is 10 per year, right? So in
Yeah.
order to get into 1,000, make the numbers 100 years,
Hmm.
impossible. And the thing is that before there was no limit, so I guess that there were organizations applying for dozens or hundreds sometimes per deadline.
Exactly.
But now the thing is that everybody or almost everybody who joins the field and starts, they can start writing down projects and applying for that. I remember my first project was written like letter after letter, letter after letter, and every question was taking 1 hour and a half, 2 hours. So imagine, like 30 questions, the amount of work was absurd. But now, like, I know people that just recently entered into Erasmus, and since they can use ChatGPT with a bit of knowledge of what they are doing and a bit of guidance and some help from some expert, they can apply for one project in less than a week.
Everything it takes, it's 1 second to write a prompt, and there you have it, objectives for a project, no? Something that before it will take us, because I also wrote a project before ChatGPT, and that, as you said, 2 hours maybe. Now it's like one prompt in ChatGPT, and there you have it in less than 2 seconds.
Yeah, less than 2 seconds, and sometimes good quality. The point here, and let's talk about this, because I think that somebody who is hearing to us and this maybe planning to use ChatGPT or any kind of artificial intelligence, Gemini or whatever, to start developing Erasmus Plus projects, they should know what's the approach from the national agencies and from the European Commission. From what we've heard, like, they are taking the approach. There is no official statement. Let's start from that. Disclaimer: nobody killing me because, hey, I used ChatGPT. You told me it was allowed. They rejected my project because they said I used ChatGPT. Watch out. There is no official statement. But what I've been heard is that from both from Spanish officers and also from Italian officers is that if you are using the tool, like artificial intelligence as a tool to write down and to develop a good project, they will evaluate it positively, which makes total sense. I mean, to be honest, and maybe we can connect it also, keep developing about artificial intelligence. At the end, this is a tool. And as you are, I also a supporter. I'm pro technology. And I think if we use it good, this is something that you said, that we can maybe discuss a bit what is a good use of technology. But if we use it good, it will just simplify our life, make us more productive, and make us have a better society. But yes, we need to really specify and limit the framework of what is using AI in a good way.
Yeah, it's a very good question, this, because I am already a PhD because I defended my thesis last month. But my PhD was about using a digital tool versus a paper tool. And one of my discussions in the thesis was about using digital tools in a good way with kids. So, for example, in order to do this, I am a pedagogue, so I studied a lot of models, theoretical models about how to implement technology. And one of these models was TPAC. It's a model that resumes how to integrate efficiently technology in classrooms. So it's a combination about technological knowledge, pedagogical knowledge, and content knowledge. So in order to integrate technology efficiently in education, you have to, as a teacher, as a youth worker even, you have to have the content you want to know, the content you want to teach, the technological knowledge that you need in order to apply that technological tool, and this is very important, the pedagogical knowledge. That means the didactics after what you are trying to do. So implementing this model, like taking into account these three knowledges, the technology will be implemented possibly more efficiently. So this also can be applied to ChatGPT. For example, in the classrooms, in order to use ChatGPT efficiently, you need to know what do you want, what do you intend to achieve when you are using this tool. I am not sure if I am explaining myself.
Yeah, I think it's very clear, no? Like, you need to have the technical knowledge of how to use the tool. You need to know what you want to teach, and you need to know how to do it through the pedagogical knowledge. I'm understanding it in this way.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a challenge also, since that makes total sense, because this can be applied to any technology, I guess, no? This is particularly, we are talking about artificial intelligence, and for sure we need to know how we are using artificial intelligence. And immediately, when you are telling me this, immediately the idea of developing a GPT, in ChatGPT, of how to teach something pops up. But yeah, we need to know also like how to teach, and this is something very important. We are in the education field, and as youth workers, we will have youth from different ages, different ranges, and we need to know how they will learn what we want them to learn or what we want to teach. Yes, I'm thinking about that right now. For instance, I'm learning. I mean, I think the process will take time. I think the process will take a lot of time because so far I don't know if many people is really using any kind of artificial intelligence in the education field. Like,
Yeah.
do you think somebody is using it in some level? Like, I don't know, in universities,
Do you
how do
mean
you implement
teaching
ChatGPT?
or learning?
Learning, I'm sure, yes, because students
Yeah.
are crazily using ChatGPT in all levels, all potential levels. Like, for instance, right now, I know that many people is maybe just transcribing the teachers or the professors' lecture,
Notes.
and you can just put it into ChatGPT, give me bullet points of everything was important, and just summing it up, hours of content or in few seconds. No, we were talking about different tools, like there is, for instance, notebook LM. So maybe you can explain us a bit better what is that one, but I think this one has this purpose, no, for learning actually, or for teaching.
Yeah, notebook LEM. It's a tool from Google that it's very useful in the field of when you're a student or when you have to do some essay, because you can upload different files and then you can ask this. Well, we will say it's also in chat format. So you upload 3 or 4 documents and you can ask them anything about these documents. For example, there is a very nice tool because this notebook LAM became viral 2 weeks ago because they implemented a new function that it's a podcast. I don't know if you know about this.
No, I've never heard about it, but maybe right
It's
now that
very
we are launching all
interesting.
this stuff, it might be interesting. But what is it about?
Yeah, it is very nice. For example, I can upload my thesis, my whole thesis, 300 pages, to notebook LAM, and there is a function that it's a podcast, and you will hear 2 persons talking about my thesis in a podcast format. It's
Way.
crazy, and it's all AI generated.
No way.
So it's like a person in digital and also me talking about, okay, so today we are meeting to talk about this thesis, which is titled blah, 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 blah. And what do you think about the objectives? Oh, yes, the objectives of this thesis, it's crazy.
Wow, that
So
sounds crazy. That's wild. I'm thinking, imagine that you want to learn a new language. You can upload the book teaching you the language, and you can have it like in a podcast. I want to try that. I want to try
yeah,
that. Imagine.
100 recommended. That's why it became viral, because it's crazy. And you can like study and go on a walk and just listen to this podcast, you know?
Yeah, I think this is something that if we are able to use it, we can increase how we are learning. Like right now, for instance, I'm studying Arabic. I know that many people that is listening to us will be interested for sure in languages, because at least they are learning English. And for instance, when I'm in these Arabic lessons, I'm learning Shami, which is like the Shami is like the Levantine dialect. And I developed a GPT myself, which I have in next to me. It's an online lesson, and I am including there all the vocabulary. I'm putting it into columns, and after the whole class, I put these columns in Quizlet, and I have these flashcards. So, like, thanks to the possibility of having this GPT developed by myself, and it was simple to develop, not just telling GPT, hey, you're going to be translating and put everything into columns. Very simple orders. We don't need to be a software developer for this, okay? And right now with natural language, you can create your own GPT. So it's super simple. Like, I don't know how to code, and I could do it. And now when I'm going in the metro or whatever, I can just be with my Quizlet, and I'm learning the Arabic. And it's something that if also, like, as youth workers is okay, but also as learners, we should really apply the different way. Also being creative, we are talking about it. I think that I'm very, very much into pro AI if we see it as a tool. So if we know how to use this tool,
100%.
it can really leverage our results by, I don't know, there is no limit, I think, with AI.
I totally agree that AI will improve learning in general, and I think it's very important to say this for us as youth workers, because we also think this. We need to learn how to implement it in order to, teach young people that we are in contact with. Because we are so sure that this will improve learning. Okay, but how should we do it, and in which context? No. So I think we have a need right now, which is to identify what the young people need about using AI in their learning in general, which is like a very hard thing to do, but I think it's a necessity. Yes.
Yes, totally is a need. And also, one idea that I've had with Sergio, the other co-founder of Motus Europa, a very good friend also, is to develop a training course about AI, about using AI, and to like the same that I think your TC was more about researching what can we use. I think we should create one about using it, and people coming here with some experience and being able to give some knowledge about how we can also start using different AI tools and learning from each other, because the potential is huge.
Yeah, well, the training I attended, it was very similar. The training course I went, it's called JI in Youth Work, and it was a pilot thing, because the thing about also AI is that it's continuously evolving. So it's very hard to keep to give some knowledge about a tool that every week has new things to offer. This project it was done this summer, but I think they will repeat it again, and of course they will update things, because again, you need to update things since the AI it's every day coming up with new tools.
Yeah, totally. You were saying that, and I think it's something very interesting and very important to have there, that is evolving super fast. And I think, look, we are right now, like the deadline was this month, and next deadline we are facing in K Action 1 Erasmus is going to be next February. So we will have a new guide for the 2025 with new goals and stuff and new fields. I bet artificial intelligence and technologies. Digital competencies are one of the 8 competencies, so they are already on the table. Artificial intelligence is already on the table, and we are actually having one comment from Omar that he's saying that they are trying to connect education with artificial intelligence, mixing that with a methodology of gamification, which is a super nice idea, and I think you should go for it. And I think this 2025 we will have even more chances to launch artificial intelligence projects, because if the European Commission is a bit awakened, they will realize that if we take the leverage of artificial intelligence, we can increase our productivity by hundreds. And we need to do it as professionals, we need to do it as youth workers, we need to do it as learners. And just to close this, I will also talk about one project, because it's what we are saying. It seems that artificial intelligence is something from this year, or maybe 1 year and a half. But it's been for a long time. And actually, I was working in a K Action 2 with Innovate to Europe, which is a company from Madrid. They are very, very involved into entrepreneurship at the European level. Also, they are Erasmus for Young Entrepreneur Intermediary Organization. So they work very good. I was working with them in a project, a K Action 2 project called Pepaico. And the main goal of the project was to develop a course to teach these kind of skills about how to use artificial intelligence for workers and for entrepreneurs. And it was a complex, like a partnership between some universities. I think there was at least 3 universities, one from Finland, IPAC from France, and etc. So what I want to say, this project was approved in 2022, is that the European Union and the European Commission, Erasmus project in general, was already putting money into artificial intelligence. But I think now it's going to be much more a higher priority.
They need to do that. Absolutely, yes.
We need it, right? Like we see that it's working. Okay.
Also, about evaluating, we talked about this earlier, no? About evaluating works that projects that they may have used artificial intelligence. I will also say, as a person that worked in university as a teacher, because in my PhD I worked as a teacher, as people who evaluate and people who want to who works in the youth work and also the teaching level, we don't mind that people use AI or ChatGPT. We mind that people use it and don't revise and don't learn. I don't read the work that they are doing. This is the difference. It's the same 20 years ago, for example, when we had internet and we wanted to we had an essay to do. You don't go to Wikipedia and copy paste it. It's the same. It's the same as now that so many people are using ChatGPT and copy pasting it without doing anything else. So this is very important. It's important that my students, I know they use ChatGPT. No offense, I use it too. So I can't really.
We are in the same boat.
Of course, I can negatively give them. I can't evaluate them negatively only because they are using ChatGPT, because I am using it too. It's about how they are using it. If you are gonna copy paste me Wikipedia, I will tell you you can do this, or at least give you less points. And I can do the same if you are writing with ChatGPT and I read. It's crucial that we. I am so pissed of the word crucial because ChatGPT right now, you know.
Delph.
Yeah,
Delph.
it's
The
very
word
typical.
Delph, when people is talking in English, Delph is like the example that nobody who's learned English and is not native in English and is not a PhD native in English will use Delph ever. And people is
Yeah,
putting Delph.
Delph.
And also the
Oh,
structure,
yes.
we are all using ChatGPT. We are all know what the paragraph, even if some people don't even use GPTs, special GPTs. They use the normal one. So like it's easy to recognize, very easy.
Exactly.
Be creative, guys. Like if you're going to try to do something like that, be creative and also make it original. We are saying, no, like at the end, artificial intelligence should be a tool. So it's like, okay, you want to build, I don't know, let's say you want to build a furniture, okay, a table, like you have a hammer. Artificial intelligence is your hammer. Make a good table with that. You can actually make a much better table than before. And right now, like with artificial intelligence, you can have. This is something that maybe we should talk about, like the many doors that are open now about how we can have access to knowledge. No, also I think this been changing from time to time. And I think it's actually very interesting to have this conversation with you, Fatima, because look, like some 50 years ago, no internet, no artificial intelligence, no ChatGPT, there were only books, no?
Yeah.
So if you wanted to learn something, you would go to a book or to your professor, right?
Yes.
And they would be the authorities. Like nobody would fight an encyclopedia, nobody would fight against your professor. But right now, that's not the case. Since already some years, with the arrival of internet and the massive arrival of internet, our generation many times know much more than the people upper in our hierarchy, professors, bosses, superiors, people in charge, officers, etc. We know much more because we are talking about different fields, or because we can research much more about it. We have a huge amount of knowledge just right there, just in our phone with one click. And I think now also the role maybe of youth workers and professors, like since you are also in the university, will change because it's not that much that you need to know and teach. Maybe you need to have different. You need to change the approach. What do you think about it? It's an interesting topic.
I think you don't need to know. You need, hold with me, how to know. If I don't know something, I need to know how to reach that knowledge. I think that's the key for today's education. And for example, I was researching also because I do research, so everything that it's in the education field, I like to write papers, scientific papers about this. And I was researching about the use of ChatGPT in university, and it says that the students that access to ChatGPT, the benefits were better when they were asking for how to do it instead of solutions. So, for example, if you are trying to learn about coding, a coding assignment, so the student A asks ChatGPT, okay, can you explain me how a sorting algorithm works? And the student B asks, in the other hand, can you give me the code to sort a list? So the both of them are asking the same, but student A is asking how to learn, how does the algorithm works. And this scientific paper talked about that students A, the person who asked about how when they were interacting with the ChatGPT, when they were asking, please explain me this, the learning was more effective. So we are having like scientific proof that ChatGPT is not, is good for education, but it's more efficient when you are using it in ways that humans know and learn. I don't know if I explained myself right now.
Yeah, I super like how good you show it. My father would have told me that teach people how to fish, don't give them fish. No,
Yeah,
it's a bit this way, no?
exactly. Yes.
It's exactly that, no? Learn how to learn. Yeah, if you get just like empty knowledge, people will not know how to use this knowledge. But if you tell them how to learn, it will be useful and they can apply it once they don't have the tool, because at some moment we will not have all the time some tool. We have also a comment from Alexia.
Yeah, I was reading. It's
Yes,
very
Alexia, thank you very
interesting.
much for being here.
Yeah, thank you, Alexia.
Yeah, we will put also this in different platforms so you can watch it in a different moment, Alexia. Very nice to have you here, always around. Gracias to you. And yeah, it's very interesting. We will also addressing some concerns, and many people talk. And I think I would like to bring this to youth work. I was telling you about some of my concerns. Let's take the hat of conspiracy, or let's try to, maybe not conspiracy, but yeah, the visionary hat. Okay, let's try to imagine how a bit the future would look like. No, how is going to affect us, like ChatGPT, but not just ChatGPT, because I don't want to use artificial intelligence and ChatGPT as synonyms, because they are not. Like artificial intelligence is much wider. But how it will be for us as youth workers with this big influence of artificial intelligence, because right now, yeah, I was telling to you before having the podcast. I think that currently most of the use that we are doing to artificial intelligence is in youth work, practically inside of Erasmus, is
Yeah.
to write down projects. But I think that this is like maybe 1% of the potential that we could have for Erasmus. What are your ideas? How do you think artificial intelligence can influence, particularly, let's talk particularly about the Erasmus Plus of work. You have some ideas?
Yeah, it's really difficult because it's happening right now. I don't really have a lot of ideas about how this will affect, but I'm sure it will. For example, us as youth workers, we have a lot of ideas, we have a lot of dynamics, and because we are moving around a lot, sometimes it's like, oh, do you remember that energizer? So sometimes we will use ChatGPT to give us these, we will say, basic ideas. Like it's almost like you used Google, no, ChatGPT, like and ask it for some ideas in order how to implement some dynamic, for example. I think that will happen. I don't know your thoughts.
Yeah. That sounds like very interesting. I'm just thinking about what kind of GPTs I'm going to create after this talk. But for sure, one would be like Plusser's Energizers creator, no? And you train
Yeah.
the GPT, and you are at any moment, and somebody tells you need to make an Energizer. So you just open the GPT and you tell me one Energizer for 25 people to,
Yeah,
I don't know,
exactly. Or even
to
you
meet each
can
other, or to have fun, or with some
exactly
purpose.
give it a topic about the energizer. Yeah. For example, myself, I do
Yeah.
have a note. I use a lot of Telegram, and there I have a chat with me where I have multiple chats, and I have one of them which is energizers. And every time I go in a project, I write, "Oh, I really like this energizer." So, but for example, having a chat GPT um, programmed in a ChatGPT with energizers, that will be a lot faster. Like everyone could add their energizer and you just can ask it right away. For example, it's one of the outputs of using AI in youth work.
Okay, that sounds interesting. Can you share with us a bit more of what tools maybe you were talking about in the TC when you were in calling with Fred, Julia?
Yeah,
maybe
in
we can get
this
inspired by those tools.
yeah, in this program, in this project, we had like a session dedicated to share the tools that we used on a daily basis and to explain to everyone about why we thought they were useful, and well, just talk about it and let people know, right? And some of them, for example, were of course ChatGPT, and then not only ChatGPT and the OpenAI API, which will be like the how ChatGPT works behind. In my group, in the Spanish group, I had an engineering, and this guy, he's amazing at using ChatGPT. And we knew that the potential of OpenAI is bigger when you use an API and when you have the knowledge that we as basic users we don't have. So it's very interesting to know this because the potential is amazing, but as basic users we can't reach it because we don't know how to program, maybe, no. And then other things that we talk, we discussed about Cloud and Gemini, which are others AI tools. For example, Gemini is from Google. I think everyone knows this right now. And then, of course, Notebook LM that I already talked about in the form that you now can upload so many so many files and ask it to do a podcast about it. And then also one of the tools that we share is Perplexity. It's also a AI tool in format of chat. And for example, I do use it to do research because you can ask it to search the internet and it will give you the sources in form of link. And this is very interesting because when I look for a scientific paper, I ask them, look for a scientific paper about family involvement in these journals. So I already have the link for that. And it's nice because you can use it for free. ChatGPT also has this option, and I personally think Perplexity works better in this topic. And it's also free. So I think it was a very nice. We learned a lot of tools in this session.
Yeah, Perplexity, I didn't know it. Of course, the others at the end are becoming so known. And I want to share one story about the OpenAI API. But before I want to mention also some tools that might be interesting. Like most of the ones that you are talking are text to text, like or text to audio. For example, with Notebook LM is text to audio. I think it's important also to talk about text to image, that we have this DALI that is also integrated in ChatGPT, or you have Midjourney, which, by the way, I've never known how to use Midjourney. I tried to join. Technically, you can have it through Discord, but
some tokens also,
I don't know. I tried to join, really. I was ready to pay, but I could not manage. But still, Midjourney, I know a friend that I also met from Erasmus. He's from Armenia, and he told me that he shared some of the photos that he's making with Midjourney, and the results of Midjourney are not realistic, but hyper realistic. It looks, it's a new kind of art. Just as an example of what kind of applications the API might have, I remember in a project that I was actually sent by you, by Motus Europa. I went with Sergio, and we had Antonio. He's from Sevilla right now. Actually, he's a scientific. He's researching about AI and studying a master's in Barcelona. Say hi to Antonio. Hope he's listening. And I remember this project was about robotics. We were in Krakow. The project was about robotics. And at the beginning, well, the main idea of the project was he was giving to us some robots, and we need to build them, no? And the point is that Antonio, he was studying at the time. He was in the last year of mathematics and IT. And he said, I want to go to the hardest. And for some reason, I was just next to him saying, we are going to the hardest. So let's make something more complex. And instead of taking just robots, for example, we started taking different pieces of robots and creating our own robot. And at some point, Antonio, he started connecting the API of ChatGPT, creating its own prompt to even his own plague. Like he programmed a new system, okay, connected with the API, and we had one robot saying what we wanted to say, connected with an app also. Like in 3 days, I don't know how we managed to do that, but we could control it from the phone through an app. And I was like, okay, if us that we are nobody, okay, my friend was a genius, okay, he was a genius, but he had 3 days, and he made this. Imagine with investment, imagine with money, imagine with time, imagine with a better team. What are we really able to make?
Exactly.
You know,
amazing.
Right now, I don't know if you saw that 2 weeks ago, I think Elon Musk launched the Optimus, these robots that look like that are humanoid robots. I don't know if you see that. I think they are using ChatGPT.
Yeah.
We're going to have that all around.
That is why, yeah, 100% what you're saying. And that is why, again, it's very important that we teach people how to use it efficiently. Because with a good team of people that knows how to use ChatGPT efficiently and in a good way, the both of them, the potential for the humanity, I would say, it's crazy in the next years.
Yes. Are you, for closing, last questions, are you pro apocalypse? Do you think that it will lead us to... No, because I think it's interesting. Many people bring us, and I think this is a concern that we're talking. This technology is affecting all sectors, all fields. It will lead to youth work. It's affecting also us. Okay, let's say there, like, the wider spectrum is full apocalypse, but maybe not full apocalypse, but in the middle way, it will affect us. I wouldn't say negatively to all of us, but at least it will have a huge impact on us. And imagine that right now. This is something I was thinking about for a long time. Imagine that right now you start using AI for everything, and you have all cars, all planes, and all buses and trucks driven by AI. What's going to happen, no? With the people that is driving them now.
Yeah.
What do you think about education? Do you think it will have, like, I don't know, we will stop hiring professors, and we will just have develop GPT models teaching in front of hundreds of people?
It's funny because the when you're starting to think about this, like, the mind goes crazy, like, oh my god, what will happen? And it's kind of a crisis, no, in society. Oh, we're gonna be overtaken by machines. What is going to happen, no? And the first part of this question is that it's normal to be scared because it's actually in our biology. Or like when us as human beings we are encountered with something new, the first emotion is fear, because fear it's an emotion that it's an adaptive emotion. In order to survive, we have to survival. So when we encounter something new, we are so scared, like, because it's on our limbic system. It activates them. So first thing is it's okay to be scared, and we have to feel that. And then we, as humans, we can overcome it. That's the good thing about the human race, that yes, we do feel, but we are also able to overcome and adapt to the new situations, and it enables us to innovate, learn, and even explore new tools, in this case AI. So it's okay to be scared. Okay, we feel it, we accept it, and we learn about it. And then about this thing that us as humans feel about technology, it has been happening in history since ever. I don't know if you are familiar with the terms of Luddites. Do you know them?
No,
The Luddites.
I don't know them.
So when a new technology arises in society, it always happens the same. We are so I don't know. I don't want to say a bad word. Sorry.
Yeah, we are condemned,
So,
no? We are going
yeah,
to.
we are condemned. The society is gonna fall. This happened, for example, in the Industrial Revolution, when the Luddites were a group of people who broke machines because they were thinking that they will destroy their jobs. And I mean, I know, and they were right to feel scared, because technology, it improves of life, but it also changes it. And the thing is, we need to adapt. So the same thing happened in the Industrial Revolution. The Luddites broke the machines because they were scared, and now we are living with AI, and we are feeling scared about this. So many jobs will change because of this, but it will be for the best, as happened with the Industrial Revolution. So again, I think it's important that we learn about history in order to not repeat the same mistakes, and to overcome this change and to use it for good. And I think that the use of AI, it will improve humanity in all the ways. That's my
Okay, well,
opinion,
you're
at
very,
least.
yes, you are very optimist. Well, I super like the way you answered that question. I thought it would be a much harder question to answer. Spoiler for the, how do you call them?
Luddites. It's
Lu, lu,
Luddites.
Luddites.
Yes.
Spoiler for them, machines took their jobs. Okay,
Yeah.
now we have industrialized, so the learning we can take from that is that we need to adapt. Now these people would be engineers, maybe working in the factory, or software engineers, stuff like this. I like the approach. I think the same will happen. You were telling me this story, and just the moment where I was very small, I don't remember, but everybody tells that in the 2000, people said that the internet and the system would collapse because of the changing of the millennium, and people were pretty
Exactly.
scared. So
It was the same.
kind of like that, kind of like that. Yeah. I understand. I'm also supporter of this approach. I sometimes gave this actually exactly that example, but I didn't know the terminology of Luddites.
Luddites, yes.
Luddites. Okay, well, just to close, Fatima, I would like to mention that you are from Motus Europa. Maybe you want to say something about what you do, what you are doing, for somebody who's been listening to us, where they can find you, or how can they be in touch with you?
Well, right now, yes, I already defended my PhD, so now I am with other projects. But in the future, next year, I hope to apply to a postdoc positions about using AI in education. Because yeah,
Just the
that
hot
will be my
topic.
project. Yeah, that's why I'm also like researching and reading papers about it, because it's a need. We need to know how our brain works in when using AI in education, and I want to make that my project as a postdoc researcher. And I am also the co-founder of Motus Europa, which is an NGO here in Galicia. We send people to Europe to do projects about Erasmus and non-formal education. And I am also a pedagogue, and I love education in general. So I hope to keep in this field for so many years.
Good professional,
Yeah.
better person. I will close in this way. Fatima, thank you very much for coming to Plusers. This is the first episode of the podcast. We have also a community in different platforms. We are in Instagram, we are in YouTube. We have our private community of Erasmus Plus professionals who are developing and growing together, where you can join. We have the links in the description. It was a pleasure. Let's see you in projects, Fatima.
Okay, thank you so much, Jesus. See you everyone also in Blazers.